Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today is the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 28th of August. We have only got 48 hours, just a little bit more than that, to go in the transfer window, and Chelsea are expected to make their official bid this morning in the coming hours for Victor Osimhen. This is a very exciting day to be Chelsea fans. It's going to be a roller coaster for the next few days, the next few hours. So make sure, if you're not already, please do subscribe to the George Benson football channel. I'm going to be going live. We've got a game against Servette tomorrow. We're going to be doing everything. You guys are going to be up to date here on GBFC. As much as news is coming in, you're going to know about it. So make sure you're subscribed. And whilst you're here, if you're excited that Victor Osimhen could still be signing for Chelsea in this window, smack a like on this video. You can also get yourself 10% off the new kits with the discount code GBFC. I've made this little graphic down the bottom left-hand corner of the screen so that you guys know exactly what is going on. So, I've made another graphic here. I have made a graphic of sell, loan, and keep, just so that we can keep things fresh and not every video is the same, and we've got some different ways of looking at things. I'm going to throw it on the screen now. This is what I think is going to happen between now and the end of the transfer window. And to be quite honest, there's only one player here in this graphic that I'm not happy about what's going to happen with him, but I do understand it. And if you can guess who it is before I say it in a few seconds, then well done. That player that I'm not happy with is Chukwuemeka. I don't really want us to sell him at all. I think he's going to explode if he can get a run of games in whatever team he goes to. But I also think in order for Chelsea to get this Victor Osimhen deal done, we're going to need to raise as many funds as possible. So we've got Axel Disasi here in the sell category. Ben Chilwell, I'm pretty sure we're going to try and sell him. Chukwuemeka, Raheem Sterling, Armando Broja, and David Datro Fofana. And then in the loans, we've got Petrovic, Cassidy, and Angelo. And in the keeps, we've got Trevoh Chalobah and Omari Kellerman. But in all honesty, I think Kellerman will end up being in the Chelsea under-21s this season. We're not hearing any stories at the minute of any clubs interested in a loan, or Chelsea being interested to loan him. When you look at this, Axel Disasi was bought in for a lot of money, and he's not quite lived up to the hype. Sell him. Ben Chilwell, he's not really part of the plans of Maresca. He's been banished from the first team. Sell him. Chukwuemeka, all summer long, we've been talking about, well, is he really wanted? Is he going to stay at Chelsea? I guess sell. Raheem Sterling, look, if we can sort this situation out, sell. Broja, sell. Fofana, sell. The reality of the situation here is I'm starting to understand now exactly what Clearlake are trying to do with Chelsea Football Club. And it's only now that we're actually starting to see the way that we're being ruthless and brutal in this transfer window that everything started to make sense. I think a lot of people won't want to still understand what's going on because it fits their personal narratives of not backing the new owners, not believing in the new owners. But to be quite honest, when you look at the players that we've actually got in this squad already existing and the players that we're looking to bring in that we're going to talk about within this video, I think the Chelsea squad is going to be in a position where top four, it would almost be a disaster if we didn't make it. I know that's a bold statement. I know that is a pressured statement. But the reality of the situation, guys, is if you bring in Victor Osimhen or Ivan Toney, either of these strikers should elevate this Chelsea squad to a position where you can't really expect anything else than top European football next season. 4th place in the Premier League. That is exactly what Chelsea should be aiming for with a squad like what we've got. If Enzo Maresca has been brutal and honest, and I think there's been a lot of questions about Maresca about is he too brutal, is he too honest? And it's like, can't you just be brutally honest? And those two words merge together. That's exactly what he's done. He's looked at the players in pre-season. Sterling got lots of minutes. Chilwell, I think, played in the first game and then he quite quickly realised that he wasn't going to have a future. Same with Armando Broja. Enzo Maresca has been very, very clear. And the way that this has all been communicated, yes, there's a lot of public airing of certain laundry at Chelsea, but at the same time, you've got to make things very clear publicly so that other clubs can be interested and aware that certain players are available. So this graphic that we see on the screen now, Petrovic, I think, can consider himself very unlucky. Hasn't really had a look in at all and had an injury at the beginning of pre-season. I think with Fofana as well, like, pretty unlucky to be fair. I don't think he could have foreshadowed Chelsea going as crazy in the attacking market as we have. So I think, to be fair, there's a lot of players that will feel hard done by. But the only one that I'm kind of upset about here is Chukwuemeka, because I feel like of all of the players, he's not had enough opportunities to show how valuable he could be for Chelsea. I think he's going to become a superb footballer. But this is the way I predict the remainder of Chelsea's transfer window will go when it comes to who stays and who goes from the club. Chalobah staying, honestly. If we get Osimhen signed and Trevoh Chalobah stays at Chelsea, I'm gonna have a celebration party here on GBFC. We are gonna finally have a 300,000 subscriber party, because that would be ideal. I think as much as this Sassy, it might be difficult to find someone to buy him. It's been difficult to find someone to buy Trev. Let's be honest, we've had stories of Atlanta coming in recent days, but enough about who is going to leave Chelsea, because we are into the closing 2-3 days now of the transfer window. Gianluca Di Marzio, the direct line from Chelsea FC to Victor Osimhen continues. The latest. So, at the moment, as it currently stands, Chelsea and Al Ahly are still the only clubs in talks for Victor Osimhen. PSG not working on it. There was a lot of back and forward. Some journalists were saying that PSG are still interested. Other journalists were saying that PSG weren't interested. Now that we're getting down to the meat and potatoes of the transfer window, PSG are not working on a deal as of right now to sign Osimhen. Chelsea are talking to Osimhen's camp as main option on 4 players list. Now, we know Osimhen is one. We know that Ivan Toney is another one. Who are these other 2 strikers? Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a name that has been touted. I've not spoke about him here on GBFC because I genuinely think this would be an awful buy. The man can't stay fit. I don't think he fits the profile of what we need, and he's not good enough. That is not the level of striker that Chelsea should wait until the end of the transfer window to sign. If we were going to sign Calvert-Lewin, it should have been because Maresca was adamant and we get it done so that he can come on the tour with us. It's not the case, is it? Let's be real. There's a name as well that I want to throw out here. Darwin Nunez of Liverpool. It's just a thought. I think Chelsea have shown and expressed interest in him in the past, and Liverpool might be about to sign Chiesa. And as much as Jamie Carragher will say to you, nah, it's not a problem, mate, it's not a problem, they've got loads of players up front. Maybe Nunez could be one that could leave. So that is who I think the 4-man shortlist would be. Maybe John Duran is also one of those as well. If it's not Calvert-Lewin or Nunez, probably John Duran too. Good player, but not as exciting maybe as the Osimhens and also Ivan Toney's. So another Italian journalist, Sasha Tavalieri, has said Chelsea FC enters in action now for Victor Osimhen, passionating last-minute deal incoming. Interesting use of language there. But also, we've got to look here at the way that this whole saga has gone and why I can sit here on Wednesday morning very, very confident right now that we're at least going to get an answer, I think probably today, as to what is going to happen here for Chelsea and Victor Osimhen. I think the bid is going to go in this morning or lunchtime. At some point today, Chelsea will submit an official bid for Victor Osimhen. When that bid goes in, the conversations that will already be happening with Victor Osimhen's agent, Chelsea have already probably been in discussions with the agent. And I think the later this goes, and this is why I've been confident the whole time that Chelsea are going to sign Victor Osimhen. The later it gets, the better bargaining position Chelsea are in. Osimhen's agent has come out this week saying he doesn't want Saudi. I think this is basically a ploy to try and instigate Chelsea, PSG, making that bid as soon as they possibly can so that Victor isn't at a point at the last minute of the transfer window where he's like, all right, it's Saudi or bust. And that could still happen. And I don't think Chelsea are going to budge. I think we're going to offer him massive wages, make him one of the highest paid players at the club, which he probably deserves to be. 8th in the Ballon d'Or list. It's pretty good going for Victor Osimhen, you know? And I think as long as Osimhen can see here the project that we've got and the way that if he comes in, the squad that we have really is pretty spectacular. And Chelsea should be competing to get back in, challenging for Europe's top honours and the Premier League. And incentivise bonus contracts. Look, at this point, it's about the psychology of the player. It's about what does this player look at himself and think, I can bring this to the table. Look at Cole Palmer, one of the best players in the world. Christopher Nkunku. Like, Chelsea have got serious players here. And if Osimhen has got that little bit about him, I think, he looks at this Chelsea project, looks at the fact that, yeah, okay, the numbers, the immediate salary might not be as good as what you get if he goes to Saudi Arabia or Paris Saint-Germain if they came back into the reckoning. But Osimhen's got to look at this and be like, I can bring so much value to this team and take us to the next level. We finished 6th in the Premier League last year. We're only a couple of results away from playing at Europe's top tier. And if it wasn't for the way that all of the European competitions went last season, we would have been in the Europa League. We were just unlucky, basically, in the end to get Conference League football. That's the reality when it comes to the positioning of where Chelsea finished in the table. So now, I'm pretty sure we're at a point where it is simply down to Victor. Direct talks between Chelsea and Victor Osimhen's camp to continue on Wednesday. Al Ahly proposal remains valid on the table, but will only be activated if Chelsea can't agree on terms with Osimhen. Sancho, separate story, as CFC see that possible if Manchester United want Sterling. And like I said, this is now all about Victor Osimhen. And I'm going to say it here. Wednesday morning, GBFC, Chelsea news. We're in. We're locked and loaded. Victor, mate, see the opportunity here. Premier League football. Stay in Europe. Your agent has already said we've got unfinished business in Europe. That picture of you with a Chelsea shirt on, we can recreate it with a golden badge. It's going to be amazing. It will be incredible. This is my plea to Victor Osimhen to join Chelsea Football Club. If it's Ivan Toney, I don't mind. I think he's a quality striker. Darwin Núñez, I would quietly be happy if that was the case, but I'm just literally making this up at this point, to be fair. John Duran, decent but underwhelming, and I don't think the level of striker that takes Chelsea to the next level. And after watching us against Wolves, I don't think we're far from that next level and the Enzo Maresca whatsoever. So, we also need to discuss here Jadon Sancho's exit from Manchester United and Chelsea's position to potentially get involved with this deal. For Chelsea, I see this if Manchester United can agree something with Sterling, and at the moment it's about Chelsea agreeing some kind of compensation package for Raheem Sterling because he's on massive money, he's got 3 years left on his deal, and wherever Sancho goes or Sterling goes, the reality of the situation is whichever club they sign for next, unless it's Saudi Arabia, they're not going to get anywhere close to the wages that they're currently on at both Manchester United and Chelsea respectively. So Sterling is currently looking for some kind of conversation to be had with Chelsea to sort something out here. But I also wouldn't rule out the opportunity of Ben Chilwell potentially being involved in this deal. And if we bring it back to this graphic from the start of this video about keep, sell and loan for Chelsea players, if Sterling is sold to Manchester United, which sees Jadon Sancho come to Chelsea, then I would absolutely be open to the possibility of putting Mudryk into the loan category for this season. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. I think if Sancho joins Chelsea, then Mudryk's Chelsea career right now is on a very serious pause. I don't see him getting any minutes at all. And I think with Sancho, right, I've spoken about Sancho years ago on the channel. If you've been subscribed to GBFC for that long, you'll know that I was pushing Sancho to Chelsea almost as much as I'm currently pushing Osimhen to Chelsea. It was the same for Erling Haaland. I was desperate for us to sign him for obvious reasons. But with Sancho, I think the way that Chelsea play suits his game so much better. If you think about what Sancho was so good at Dortmund, it was having that freedom to roam around. It wasn't like you've got to stay on the wing and you've got to just run at your man. Chelsea have got that on the right side. We've got Noni on the right who is more than happy to just camp out there on the right-hand side, get the ball, beat his man, score goals. With Jadon Sancho, I think there's a lot more flexibility and versatility with the potential positioning and the demands of what Enzo Maresca will be asking him and telling him to do on the pitch. So if Chelsea end up going into this season with Noni Madueke, Jadon Sancho, Pedro Neto, Joao Felix, Nicholas Jackson, Nkunku, Palmer, all of these players in the front, Osimhen, bloody hell, we are in for an absolute treat this season, I promise you. Let me know your thoughts on all of these latest news updates in the comments down below. But this isn't the last time you're going to hear from me today. Stay tuned to GBFC. Make sure you're subscribed. This is the end of the transfer window. In the next couple of days, you're going to be like, Benson, we wish you were still here. So make sure you're tuning into everything that we post here on GBFC, keeping you guys up to date. OSIMHEN to Chelsea. It's happening. Let's go.